All right, Sam. So let's move on to our progressive tweets section where we discuss tweets by some progressives and see if there's anything fun to talk about. So let's start off with our good friend Glenn Greenwald. And pretty much, if I understand this table that we're seeing correctly, it shows how many views, how many hundreds of thousands of views each of the big, hosts from the major channels, so Fox, CNN, and MSNBC get. And I mean, the only thing that's very interesting to see, and I guess not shocking. So if I'm reading this correctly, because look, on top he says Joy Reid and Chris Hayes both have now sunk to fewer than 100,000 people. So that's the only way that I believe, like, the scale of the table. So if you see Tucker Carlson 504, so I believe that means 504,000. I'm just assuming. So yeah, Glenn has picked a good show that he goes on more often than the other.
Under the age 55.
Yeah, under the age of 55. So I think this table is for people under the age of 55. And Tucker Carlson, yeah, seems to be doing much better, and not surprisingly. And I mean, MSNBC's and CNN numbers, even if they add them up, so like Cooper plus Hayes, whoever that is, it doesn't even reach Carlson. And yeah, Hannity does also semi-decent. But yeah, Fox News seems to still command, of course, not surprisingly, but compared to the other main networks, a bigger audience. Anything there that catches your attention?
Not really. No. I think it's all dead medium cable, really, as a whole. So,
but I mean,
I think no, it's just Tucker Carlson and that type of thing is gonna become sort of like in 50 years or so. It's gonna become what New York Times and Washington Post are now. Nobody really reads them or looks at them, but they sort of sets the agenda of the day and that type of thing, because they are the elite they're the elite, they are the court historians or whatever, they push the elite narrative. So I'm not that surprised, because I think Americans are sort of coming increasingly deluded, especially the youth, with the current media sort of ecosystem. So it's not surprising. And besides the fact that you can, it's just besides all the whole left, right, substantive stuff, it's just you can consume news in so much easier ways now.
No, definitely. But yeah, this is most likely for people under the age of 55, which makes it more impressive, because you keep on hearing this stat that like the average Fox News viewer is like 7 years old or something.
But if you are a right winger, you're far more likely, for example, you know what I mean? Like young right wingers will be more likely, in my view, to watch Tucker Carlson than, I'll kind of get to that when we talk about responses to some comments, than young left wing. There is no young like centrist. I don't know, maybe there are, but I doubt there are that many young centrists like watching Chris Hayes and Rachel Maddow. You know what I mean? Center just doesn't have that attraction, extremes besides the substance. Let's put aside the substance. It's because right now we are living in an age where it's just, we need a radical change. Some people feel, a lot of people feel. So I think in that sense, just center is going to collapse completely.
Oh, I don't know about that, but okay, let's keep on moving. Speaking of center collapsing, maybe like the only, like Bernie Sanders is probably like the only most unique person I've kind of seen in US politics from like the left and the progressives that kind of goes against that. But yeah, two things that I see here. I mean, one is again about the inequality, but the second part, and new moms are guaranteed 0 paid days to spend with their baby. That's another crazy thing about the US. Apparently, so viewers, please correct us. Yeah, in the US, apparently you almost get no maternity leave, which is quite a crazy thing. That's the only thing.
Oh, okay, I got it now.
Apparently, yeah. So people correct us, please. But I've heard this before too, like other places. That
I would imagine there must be some state distinction, like variation,
or some private companies. They'll give it to you and all this. But I mean, I guess by law, it's not the case.
I would say, is it acceptable? Oh, Bernie Sanders is saying that.
Yeah,
I thought
yeah.
somebody is saying that to Bernie. Bernie
No,
Sanders is
no,
asking us.
no.
It's like we're the senator. What the hell is this? Is just like, oh my god, I hate this so much when politicians tell you the problem as if it's like, I know. What your job? Why are
But
you
I mean, I
telling? What
guess
are you, a
Bernie
news
can.
person?
Yeah, but I guess Bernie
I
he'll
thought
be
this
like,
is like
I'm working on
Anna.
this every day. No, no, Anna just retweeted. But I guess Bernie can be like, no, I'm working on this every day in his accent, and his voice.
Okay. All right. No, I know. Okay, but I don't
Yeah.
understand how tweeting about it will help. I really don't.
I mean,
If you're working at it every day, just work at it every day. Why
I mean,
are
you
you
can tweet at it
tweeting
too. I
about it?
mean, you got to tweet.
It's posting.
It isn't.
That's
Yeah,
what feels to
it's
me
not
like,
the.
and I don't like that
It's
from Bernie.
not the. Really? Well, I
I
mean,
just found I thought somebody was genuinely saying that to
yeah.
Bernie as a sort of, why are you? But now
No,
I'm
I mean,
sorry, I'm not a
this
very
is what
Twitter
you
savvy
write to
person.
your. I mean, you write this to your, followers and
And
yeah,
then your
people who agree
followers
with you.
say, and then Bernie Sanders followers will answer to this question will be probably, no, it's not acceptable to us.
Yeah.
And people who don't follow him won't see this. So it's a snake eating its own mouth. It doesn't even have promotional value. I don't get it.
I mean, it has
I don't
some,
know.
but yeah, sure, it's not the greatest thing. And anyway, as I've mentioned a million times, there is no one on Twitter. So in any case, that's like the main issue. One of the I think the only way that people were seeing
nobody's
Trump's
willing
tweets
to pay.
it's because the TV was taking Trump's tweets and showing them on TV. I think that's how people were just seeing Trump tweets. Like that's like the main way that his
Again,
Twitter got all the exposure.
Twitter is like its own ecosystem.
Yeah, it's very
there is
small.
a big. There's a lot of people there, and they sort of communicate with each other. But yeah, it's just all right. I'm just sorry. I was
much less than other platforms. But okay, Sam, I think this next tweet you'll have a lot to say about.
That's
and this
a bit
one,
more substantive.
Yeah, this one we were going to talk about it, but I thought we'd do it over the tweet. So it's pretty much, I just took one of them, but Briahna had I'll put the video on so everybody can see right now as well. She had like a discussion with this, I believe her name is Layla or something. Do you want to give some context if you know the names and what it was about? And
oh no, Layla, Talia,
yeah.
I can I don't know anything more than you do. No.
Yeah, and she pretty much, she's someone I believe who's combating, I guess, like neo-Nazis and stuff, and she got really pissed off over no reason from Briahna Joe Gray. So let's just read this tweet because after that she came back and attacked Briahna, apparently saying, why did you put the video up or something like that? Why didn't you edit it? With that
title.
Yeah, and here she's, I mean, Briahna is just pointing out, sorry, that, how difficult this person was, but damn, was she ridiculous. I don't know. What are your takes? Do you have any takes on the interview?
The thing is, I haven't seen the full interview because it's behind a paywall. So I feel a bit at a disadvantage commenting. But I'm going to comment nonetheless. I would say, like, substantively, it was about the fact that how aggressive should be towards the people who are far right or even racists.
So, or neo-Nazis almost. She kept on talking about Nazis.
Neo-Nazis. And exactly. And I don't, there is quite a lot of problems with how do you classify people and all that. And then she was obviously far more aggressive, and Briahna Greyjoy was far more, and it reminded me of another debate, which Glenn debate with, I think, Nathan J. Robinson, where they keep sort of making these snide remarks. And in Farsi, we have a great word for it, kenaye. I think tikke, you know what I mean? We say parts.
Oh, okay. Got you.
Yeah. And which is
like
this
jabs,
sort of passive jabs, exactly. Like jabs. Yeah, that's a good word for it. Like these passive aggressive indirect ways of like, if you want to hold hand and kiss the Nazis and do that. And in my view, she's not saying it with an aggressive tone, but I just wanted to say that Briahna Joy Gray, besides she's just a personal hero in terms of how she can keep her cool, how she's professional. And then, I mean, we're going to discuss the correspondence that that they go through. And then she did an interview with The Hill. And that's one of the things, I really respect her professionalism. And I think in this episode, and she's had a couple of difficult interviews and all that. And you always see, it seems like if somebody is a constant, people don't like that at all. They want them to just flatter them and just always agree with them or something. But yeah,
Yeah.
it was, you're gonna go through the actual interaction. But
No,
do you
I don't
want me
have
to
much
tell
of the
what happened?
interaction. No, yeah, say what happened. I mean,
So
and her
so
name, by the way,
there's
is
a bit of
Talia.
background. Talia
Yeah, Talia
Lavia or something.
Levin.
Oh, all right. So they had an original date for the broadcast. She was an hour late, and when she showed up, she was in her car on the phone. They
I
couldn't do
hate that.
they could. I know they could. Well, we do it. They do the recording. They rescheduled the session. Then they did the recording. Then because of this rescheduling, there was like it's ludicrous. She's accused. They posted it like as like their deadline was, I think, on Monday. So yeah, 3 days, and they posted it on the deadline as planned. Briahna Greyjoy even offered her to, if you want, you can come before I publish this to finish the interview in a more reasonable fashion and respond and all that. She rejects all those things, it seems, from the private correspondence she published, which you can how ethical and unethical that is. That's personal judgment. So yeah, I think putting the substance aside, which I think obviously agree with Briahna Joy Gray more, that even if you're facing an actual Nazi, I'm not talking about war situation. In a war situation, try to kill them as much as you want. But if you're in a party, or if you see them in a normal civil situation, arguing politely, in my experience, has been better in convincing people than sort of telling them how stupid and fucked up their views are. That usually sort of makes people more defensive. They put barriers up, and I don't think, my view is that, I mean, good and bad is just such stupid categories, and I think people who usually disagree with me, basically, or let's say Nazis, they're stupid. If they weren't stupid, they wouldn't be Nazis. Like, it's not that they're bad. So, like, I mean, I'm sure there are some psychopaths who are just going to something for kids, but because they're so fucking stupid, because they didn't have a proper education, they got connected to these sort of thoughts. So that's the substance of the thing. But you read the private correspondence and all that, and you see that somebody acted with complete professionalism, and the other person, I think, used this chance to maybe just have some drama.
Man, it just came out of nowhere, though, because exactly, I mean, her point, Talia's point, was just like, yeah, Nazis and stuff, you should just, like, only say, like, you should pretty much punch them in the face when you see them, just not interact with them, just do like the worst possible to them. And Briahna was like, is that enough for making, the world a better place, in the sense of,
Sorry.
yeah, no worries, perhaps having less people who are Nazis down the line or something like that, maybe. And then Talia was like, but that doesn't work and all that. And then the part where Briahna simply asked her, well, what about your methods? Like, do you have proof that your methods, lead to a better world where less Nazis? And that's when she just like flipped out and started saying, like, listen, if you don't want to be on my side or like believe what I'm saying and stuff, you can do that, but I'm not going to change my mind. And sorry, one last thing. Then it gets really funny, and she's like, sorry if I'm pissed off, I'm trying to quit smoking. And here I think Briahna really got her, and Brianna's like, no worries, so why are you trying to quit smoking? And then she's like, well, it's because I'm running and I want to be able to run more. So Brianna's like, so you see, you thought about it and you reached this reason. It wasn't because people were beating you over the head with, smoking is bad. So I think she really got her there. And then Talia Gurgle, she was like, no, that too. And then Briahna started laughing. So I think that was like, yeah,
that's called, that's a debate technique known as Briahna Jiu-Jitsu move.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
Death touch, Briahna death touch. Yeah.
I think after that she was like The
Yeah,
girl
no,
was like
I
extra
would like
pissed.
to point out she's somebody who's used to work for major news outlets, I believe New York Times, and got fired for being wrong at her fact checking.
Or
So,
oh my god.
these people are just fascinating. And I would say again, if I would say there is a good debate to be have as a state, what you should have as a state policy towards Nazis, but then that's a whole different debate than as an individual what you should do. So I mean, it's just I
And
think the
Brianna was
state.
just asking.
Yeah. Brianna was just talking about we are living in this current scenario. So
No, but I'm saying she was just
anyway,
asking the girl questions. She was just like asking her to
oh
explain herself, but she got pissed off. And by the way,
yeah,
earlier
she
on
was
when I
very nice.
said I really hate that, that's when people do interviews from their cars. That's what I hate, not the fact that she was late. You
Oh,
can't be
really
late. I
rescheduled?
hate when people do interviews
I have never
from their
seen
car.
that.
Oh, in the MMA world, they do it a lot. I don't know why. They're like going back and forth from the gym, and then they're like doing an interview with like the camera just showing half their face. Like, you're not that interesting, buddy. Just go to the next one. Like, fuck that. But okay, let's move on to the next tweet. And again, this one is pretty
My
interesting.
headphones might run out of battery, and I have to change them at some point.
Okay,
Just
no worries.
be
Let me
aware
know.
of that.
But hey, this one was interesting again, and we spoke about this. So this one is on the whole Texas abortion, and Katie Halper had a few guests on, talking about what this Texas abortion means and what are some of the solutions. So there are two things that are very interesting. One we talked about, but one I don't think we did. So the first one that we talked about was I believe the guest Samuel. He brought this up, especially he was like, we rely so much on the courts to make things happen and not on the legislative body. And when it goes our way, it's good, but this is not the right way to really do it. And I was saying, yeah, I kind of agree with that. Like the Supreme Court is a way to getting like a really nice and big quick win, but perhaps it's not the best way. The second part is this was suggested by the lady sitting next to Katie Halper, Emily Goodman. Sorry, yeah,
Former judge.
former judge. And she said that the best way to address abortion, and so for women who want to have abortion to be allowed to, is pretty much use the same amendments that are used for slavery. So, I mean, I thought that was kind of different. I'd never heard that. So, yeah, she was saying that, the same laws is, I guess her reasoning is the same thing. You're forcing someone to do something that they don't want to by forcing them to have a
Yeah,
child that they don't
but
want to. Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying it was the first time I heard about it. It was a bit interesting. And the other gentleman, Samuel, he
okay.
seemed quite open to it. Oh, fix your headphones. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, you were finished with your thought, or
Yeah, I was just saying the other person who was there, Samuel, he
I
he took
just
it well, the
yeah.
suggestion.
It's like kind of people who try to like. Actually, I think Cenk recently did that on Twitter. That try to argue against abortion by citing the fact that in Bible actually God sort of there is a thing in Bible that God says that you should drink this poison sort of thing that was considered to be a sort of a abortion drug at the time. If your husband thinks your baby, I don't, it's complicated. It's kind of like that to me. It's like, look, man, it's just like 14th Amendment. Like I really hate the US Constitution. I generally agree with Samuel Moyle. I just think legislative is where things should be made
Yeah.
laws, not just, I hate judiciaries. I hate like judges, all that. I'm for, I think it's a bit of a, it's that type of argument. It's like the type of argument that, they want to convince somebody, let's say, that Darwinism is true. So they say, it doesn't interfere with the original creationist theory that is in Bible. It's just the God, it's all metaphors. And I don't care. I really, okay, whatever. Yeah, whatever. However you want to get out of it, get out of it. Is it a slavery? I really don't know. I mean,
yeah, I mean, I can see how you can think about it that way. It was just, but overall,
I mean, it is
was just,
it's in a real like the effect it has on the person, but you can't
you're
abandon
forcing someone,
but it's just
but
it's just such an easy. Even if you think morally abortion is wrong, all, I believe, studies have shown that all you do when you make it illegal is push it underground where more people can get sick and die. And yeah, it's
Yeah.
just I don't understand why morality has to come into lawmaking anyway. And it's just really,
Yeah, and I mean, one key takeaway also just overall from this conversation was I'd never thought about it, but yeah, I guess there is no law in the books in the states making abortion legal. It all really comes down, based on my little bit understanding, to that one
Roe
Supreme
versus
Court,
Wade.
yeah, Supreme Court case. I
Roe
guess
v. Wade.
before that, maybe it was legal in some states or something. I'm not sure. I mean, in the US, it's never a
Uh,
blanket law, so usually.
I like, to be honest, I like the whole common law thing. I just don't like that Supreme Court is the highest court in the land. I think legislature should be the highest court in the land anywhere. But in UK, in US, it's the weird system of that, which allows this whole thing. So I think, okay, like fair, like just
Yeah,
this debate should be like, I think,
yeah,
debated at a national level in a different way. But yeah, that's a good way of, I mean, if lawyers can use that, like Assange lawyers use the whole, unsafe US prisons to sort of stop his extra, use whatever means
yeah,
you
yeah.
can to fight
No,
this, of course.
100%. But okay, all right, let's move on. The next one to our friend Cenk. It's
Oh,
sad to see people
no.
fall for the simplistic arguments the Jimmy Dore and Alex Jones of the world say ivermectin is approved for human use, and the audience think that's a good point. Chemotherapy is also approved for humans, but if you don't have cancer, I wouldn't recommend it. So pretty much I want to see if you had any takes on the whole Joe Rogan getting COVID and how he bounced back. And, TYT is really going against this whole ivermectin thing, and Jimmy Dore has come out saying that he uses it. So this has created a nice little rift between parts of the left and also right and left. But yeah, anything just in general about Rogan getting COVID? I just have one thing about him getting COVID kind of to say.
My general take is that from what I understand, your doctors can prescribe this medicine to you as well, or other medicines. And yeah, consult your doctors.
Yeah.
Don't listen
Yeah.
to
Don't
anyone.
listen to
And
TYT.
for sure, yeah, no, but and read on, like, I don't even
Yeah.
trust doctors that much.
Yeah.
Read academic articles, read the latest research, and I don't like the thing is, it's sad to see people for. Is it sad to see?
Yeah.
I don't. Are they? From what I saw, I don't watch Jimmy Dore that much. I don't watch Joe Rogan, but all they said that this is a drug that can also be prescribed
Yeah.
by doctors for you. And one of the reasons that it's been tied to conspiracy theories is that it's apparently cheap and available in the third world. And there is this thing that emergency use of vaccination cannot be given legally without, I don't know about all that shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just, again, this is another
I
chapter
mean,
in adventures of what can I use to hurt somebody that I hate already. Live your
100%.
lives, people.
And like the original backlash with Joe Rogan is, I mean, all the guy did, he's a civilian. He didn't even do it through the form of his podcast. He just made a video and he said, "Hey, I got sick from COVID, and I took these medications." And then everybody, of course, jumped on that ivermectin thing. The only little gotcha petty comment I would make is that I'm not even going to go on the vaccination stuff because that's different. But Joe Rogan kind of talks about how if you're a fit person and stuff, COVID is nothing, getting it is no big deal. But in his own words, as soon as he thought he had it, he threw everything but the kitchen sink at it. So it's kind of like, if you get a little fever, do you also go and do everything you possibly can to make sure that you don't get bad if you have a little cold? No. So, I mean,
Look,
that's
man,
the only
I
little
have, I
gotcha
think,
I got for him.
no, but I would say there is much over exaggeration
Yeah,
about the
100%.
COVID as well.
But he didn't react
And
to it like a little cold based on what he said, all the precautions that he took and all the medicines and everything
yeah,
he took to
because
make sure he gets better.
but that's
Yeah,
like
I
saying that
understand.
on his deathbed he converted to Christianity. So fucking what?
Yeah,
I mean, it doesn't, his actions and his arguments are not don't have to correspond in my view, really. But for his views to be correct or incorrect. But I do think there's a lot of fear mongering on the other side.
No,
And
100%.
yeah, it's so he was, I think, yeah, I don't yeah,
Yeah.
I about the healthy young people, I don't know. I
No,
have
no, I
no
mean, yeah,
comment.
yeah. But yeah, that's the only thing I kind of went to say about that.